Welcome to the Let's Visit program. I'm your host, Dave Welsh. Today we're going to visit a really charming city, the city of Charleston, South Carolina. So stay with us. Let's start our tour of Charleston by visiting one of the most quintessential southern plantations of the area, the Boone Hall Plantation, located just outside of the city.
Hi, my name is Allison. Welcome to Boone Hall Plantation.
Quiet as possible. We're a little bit early. We're just waiting for our next group to kind of finish up clearing out. But while we're out on campus, first of all, let me tell you my name. My name's Allison. I'll be your tour guide for the house today.
Major John Boone, a member of the first group of English settlers to the area, began this working plantation and manor house in 1681. Today, Boone Hall is one of America's most photographed plantations and the site of many Hollywood productions. Just to the left of the mansion is one of the last original slave streets still intact. 9 cabins remain from the original 27, which housed the plantation's many slave families. These were house servants, skilled craftsmen, and farm workers. The plantation produced handmade bricks and, of course, cotton. Boone Hall boasts that slaves here were among the first to be educated, and that they were afforded unusually humane treatment. What are you actually doing?
Oh, I'm weaving a sweet, making a sweetgrass basket.
Is this what they used to do in the old days?
Yeah, this art has been passed down from generation to generation. This art is over 1,000 years old. And it's still being kept alive right here.
The entrance to the plantation takes the visitor through the Avenue of Oaks. Planted by the son of Major Boone, these magnificent oaks are strewn with Spanish moss, a plant native to the south that attaches itself to trees in long, thread-like tangled masses, and is used by florists in plant and flower arrangements. One of the site's original structures is the circular smokehouse, used to cure meats that were then hung by rope to the nails protruding from the roof rafters. Without refrigeration, this was how the early settlers preserved meat. Let's visit the harbor area of Mount Pleasant, where the local fishing fleet has just docked.
Need to move anything around or anything, I can do it for you.
What kind of seafood do you sell here?
Fresh local seafood.
Such as?
Spots, croaker, whiting, flounder, trout, spot-tailed bass, sheephead. Offshore fish, we have grouper, tuna, dolphin, all that.
All that.
We also bring in fish. You know, we have farm-raised salmon, farm-raised tilapia.
Now these boats that are behind us, are they part of what brings your stuff in?
Sure, some of the boats in the creek are fleet that comes in here with local boats, and then some of the boats in the creek are also party boats and head boats that take people out fishing for personal parties.
Thank you.
Sure.
Charleston is located between the Ashley and Cooper rivers and its harbor affords the visitor opportunities for sailing, fishing, harbor cruises, trips to Fort Sumter, and enjoying a great waterfront park. Just here in 1718 at White Point, where the Confederate Soldiers' Monument now stands, the local gentry hanged pirate Stede Bonnet and 27 of his crewmen. They left them hanging for 5 days as an example to other would-be pirates of the area. They didn't bury them either, but rather threw their bodies onto the oyster beds below for the crabs to pickle. My personal favorite section of Charleston is along the Battery. This is where the richest merchants of the city built their mansions. The architectural detail as well as the pastel colors of these homes are breathtaking. This is the home of Joseph Manigault, heir to a very prominent and wealthy aristocratic French Huguenot family of merchants and statesmen. It dates from 1803 and was built in the neoclassical federal style. The curved central staircase embodies an interior grace topped off by a beautiful crystal chandelier. A Charleston surprise, the earthquake bolts that stabilize the buildings. And what would a trip to Charleston, part of the Confederacy, be without a visit to Fort Sumter, where the Civil War began? It was April 12, 1861. Confederate forces stationed at Fort Johnson opened fire on Union troops holding Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, and a terrible war, the worst in American history, began. Brigadier General Pierre Beauregard of the newly formed Confederate States of America realized that the only way to rid Fort Sumter of Union troops would be constant shelling night and day from the 4 points of the compass. So he surrounded the fort with floating batteries, stretching from Morris and Sullivan's Islands to Forts Johnson and Moultrie. The weakness of Sumter turned out to be the wooden roofs of the interior buildings, which burned and drove the defenders into submission. Returning to downtown Charleston, let's visit the old Exchange Building in Provost Dungeon. Constructed between 1767 and 1771, this building became the social, political, and economic center of colonial Charleston, serving as custom house, which of course collected taxes for the British monarch, King Charles II. Underneath the building is the dungeon in which the British imprisoned many American patriots, including 3 future signers of the Declaration of Independence.
What? Have you come to replace me, too?
No, sir.
Oh, forgive me. So many of us colonists are being replaced by English officials sent to take our jobs, from the Chief Justice to the Attorney General, just swept aside.
To boycott the tea. But some of the biggest merchants got together to oppose the boycott. Ha! If they don't want freedom, if they want to be governed by men sitting in Parliament half a world away, well, the rest of us don't have to die.
In the Great Hall above, South Carolina ratified the U.S. Constitution in 1788. Now let's look at Charleston's architecture. Most homes are built long and narrow from the street. This style is by no means accidental or following any trend in 18th century style. It seems that the British taxed homeowners on how many windows faced the street, so the thrifty colonists put most of their windows along the sides of their houses. After the fall of Fort Sumter in 1861, the Union decided to blockade Charleston's harbor with a fleet of U.S. warships. This put a great burden on the Southern war effort. H.L. Hunley built for the Confederate Navy a man-powered submarine from an old industrial boiler, and it proceeded to sink the USS Hook, thus being the first successful submarine attack in naval history. This life-size replica lies just outside the Charleston Museum. I thought this lock company was a bit weird. Look at all the keys embedded into the sidewalk outside. From King Street onto Church, Broad, and East Bay is known as Charleston's French Quarter. Here is the French Huguenot Church, as well as the city's oldest, St. Philip's Episcopal Church. In the adjoining cemetery is the grave of John Calhoun, favorite son of Charleston, who served as U.S. Vice President, Secretary of War, and Secretary of State.